Hey everybody, it's Alex. It's been a while since I've done an update. It is now, September, and I started my transition in July 2 years ago. So, yeah, I'm a couple months behind, but we're going to call it 2 years on testosterone and 1 year post op, even though I'm a couple months behind. And I haven't done an update in a good 8 months now. And a lot of changes have happened since then. And the way the changes come are kind of sporadic and quick in clumps. So I'll have a spurt of hair growth or a spurt of muscle growth or a spurt of massive change. And then for a long time, nothing's different. And I never really felt the need to update every month like I did before. So I've kind of told myself every 6 months, and maybe at this point I'll just do every year. Because although changes do come, they're not consistent enough to do like an every month update. But in the past 8 months, a lot of things have happened. I've been taking notes for a while now so that I know what I want to talk about in my next update, and that update is now. So, 2 years on testosterone, 1 year post op, and these are significant things that have happened in the past 6 to 8 months. First of all, let's talk about the operation, the post op. I'm really happy with it. Now, being 50 years old now, oh, by the way, I had a birthday not a couple weeks ago. I'm now 50 on the dot. So 50 years old, kind of old for trans men, or at least old for trans men on the internet that I've seen. So my surgery isn't going to be as perfectly beautiful as, say, someone who's 25 or even in their 30s. But I'm happy with the way it's happened, what's going on anyway, even though there were some, not complications, just abnormalities. So I'll show you. 1 year, the scars are looking pretty faint and pretty good. I opted to go with no nipples because who needs that? But one thing that did happen is there's a little like lumpiness here, and that's just, I don't know what that is. Fatty deposits. The doctors don't really know. They just say it's tissue, and it's not going to go away without another operation. But I don't think it's worth it. It's not perfect, but it's not bothersome either. And I don't look horrible, and I feel great. So I still have a little numbness around the band where the sutures happened, and I don't know if that'll ever go away, but I'm getting used to it. It doesn't bother me so much. Um, my my chest feels a little like flat and sunken. I don't have like big pec muscles or anything like that, but I'm pretty confident that'll come if I work out a lot, because even in a year it's improved. When the surgery first happened, it was really like kind of like almost saggy, that you took a big chunk of fatty tissue and got it out of there. Now it's just kind of like flat and flabby. And over the year, that's tightened up and it's gotten a little bit more normal. I'm okay with it. Not perfect, but I'm older, not in the best of health, a little overweight. I think it's about as good as it could get in someone in my situation. So I'm really happy with it. The weird sensations that go on, the numbness, and maybe a little cramp here and there, and a little like a nipple sensation, even though I don't have nipples anymore. It's almost like a ghost sensation. Like if you ever had like an itchy nipple, or kind of like, I don't know, that little weird nerve sensation that happens in there. I feel that even though I don't have nipples anymore. I call it ghost nipple thing. A weird thing. Anyway, very small price to pay for the absolute confidence, and I feel so good just in my skin and in my clothes, even though I'm not a perfectly beautiful male. It's so much better than having these things on my chest. So that being said, some other things. Um, Making the shift. Excuse me while I refer to my notes. Making the shift in the mind of other people. Now I live in a small town, and most people in this town know me, and they've known me my whole life. They know my family. They know everybody. Small towns are like that, right? So anytime I go out to, I don't know, hardware store, a restaurant, grocery store, anything, I'm bound to run into somebody who knows me and they're like, oh, you're Aggie's daughter, or they refer to me as she, her, whatever. And even though I don't look at anything like that anymore, they still do that. And making a shift in those people's minds is not only difficult, it may be impossible. No matter what you look like or how you present or how I sound, they're never going to make that shift. And that's something that's kind of hard to grasp and grapple with, but you can excuse that, right? Because it's all they know, is what they know. You know, other people, they don't care, it's not them. But making the shift in your own mind, this was surprising to me. Um, I know I felt like a boy my entire life, but my entire life I've been a biological woman and I've had to deal with that and had to be that. And it's only been 2 years since, well, 2 years in the transition, and now I'm only starting to really present as male. And even in my own mind, it's hard to shift from she to he. When I speak to myself in my head about myself, I often use female pronouns. And that's weird, isn't it? So that's unexpected and weird. Even at this stage, it's weird to it's a little bit difficult to make the shift in my own mind, and damn near impossible to make the shift in other people's minds who have known you your whole life. So that's something. Next note. I'm enjoying the body changes without diet and exercise. So I touched on this a little bit. I'm enjoying the chest surgery, even though it's not perfect. Other body changes that have come from the testosterone is a little bit of muscle mass, a little bit toughness, hardness, a lot of hair growth in like my thighs and other body areas that I didn't really expect, but it's obviously what happened. And just the musculature is harder and tighter. Now I don't look like a 20-year-old bodybuilder, I get that, but yeah, I feel different and I do look different, and even just kind of like my profile is a little bit more masculine. And I'm not dieting my ass off. I'm not working hard in the gym. I'm not, exercising crazy. But these changes that I've always wanted, that I worked so hard for in the past and never got, are just happening. And I am so grateful for that. And I just love that. And again, not perfect. I'm older. I'm lazy. I eat too much. I drink too much. I'm not going to, be an Adonis. But the changes that are happening without massive effort are amazing. So I just want to make note of that. I'm very, very happy about that. And my next note says, so this is a little bit strange. So out in the world, when I'm not in my hometown and everybody knows me, anywhere else in the world, they all perceive me as male. I'm constantly being called sir, mister. Everybody thinks I'm a guy, especially when I go to the hardware store or stuff like that, and they want to talk guy shit and do guy shit and treat me as a guy. And I like that, but in the back of my mind, there's this little sneaky little secret knowing that I haven't always been a man. I'm not a real man. And this guy thinks he's talking to a man, but I'm not really, or I haven't always been. And it's almost like a dirty little secret I have in my head that I kind of enjoy in a weird kind of way. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, or if it's even like an appropriate thing to think, but that's there, and I kind of like it. I like kind of having this little secret that nobody knows about me, at least out in the real world. I mean, out in the world where people don't know me. This note's about the sensations in the chest, which I really touched on in the beginning. So yeah, I got that. Still a little bit of numbness, but it doesn't bother me as much. I don't know if I'm getting used to it or if it's going away. I don't really care. I'm more comfortable with it. Yeah, the ghost nipple thing is weird. And every now and again, if I'm doing something strenuous, I get a weird little cramp in the surgical area that's kind of like ripples and cramps up for a second. It's a very strange sensation. That's really the only weird side effect from physical sensation side effect from the surgery. Everything else I'm really digging about it. Bathrooms. Bathrooms were a thing. Now, when I very first started transitioning or thought about transitioning, Everyone complained about the bathroom issues. Like, should I go in this one? Should I go that one? And I'm like, these people are crazy. Just go where you gotta go, you know? But when it actually started happening to me, I understood why it was so weird. You go into the women's room and you look like a guy, the women are gonna freak out, you know, yell at you, you know, want you out of there. You go into a men's room. If you go into a men's room as a female, very, very female, the men are go okay with that. Not they're more than okay with that. They love it. They're like, oh, come right in, you know. But if you go into a men's room as a quasi, you know, feminine, butch female or something like that, or even a halfway transition male, they pick up on that. They don't like that, and unlike the women, men can get violent when they're scared. So it's scary to go in a bathroom. You don't know what you're going to encounter in there. You know the women are going to yell at you, but you don't know if the man's going to punch you in the face. So they're kind of scary. Well, it got to the point where I pass so much as a man now. I am not afraid of the men's room. In fact, I'm quite comfortable in the men's room. I was a little bit worried that I can't use a urinal if I go in a men's room, what I'm going to do. But I have found that everywhere I go, even the crappiest little gas station, has a stall, you know. So just pretend you got to go number 2 and go in the stall and do what you got to do. Nobody thinks about it. Nobody blinks twice. Nobody looks at you. Nobody even worried about that. Men's room is completely fine. In fact, at one point, I was so comfortable in a men's room, I accidentally went into a women's room, and I didn't see urinals on the wall. And I thought, that's strange. Where are the urinals? Oh, I'm in the wrong bathroom. So I got that comfortable with it. So if you're having issues with the bathroom, just know in time when you're, you know, passing as a male, it's all going to be fine. Nobody says boo about it. No worries there. Okay, so now that I'm 99% passing as male, everybody calls you sir, everybody calls you mister. And this is something that I've noticed, wasn't expecting, never even thought of before. But it's not just the words they use, it's the way they say it. Most people, when they call you sir or mister, they seem to have a more of a respect to that phrase towards you. And in turn, I feel like I have a little bit more power, a little bit more respect, I'm a little bigger in the world when people call me that. That was unexpected, and it may be a very unpolitically correct thing to say or even perceive or talk about it, but it's there. And like I said, I wasn't expecting it. I had no idea this would be a thing. And everyone else out in the world, when they say sir, they say it differently when they say than when they say ma'am. They seem to have a lot more respect. They stand a little taller, they have a little more attention, and you feel a little bit more powerful, that people see you. You know, people feel you. People respect you a little more. It's weird to feel that way, and I didn't before as a female. And I feel it's kind of, excuse my language here, a little bit shitty that people treat men that way, with a little bit more attention, a little bit more respect, a little bit more oomph. But it's something I've noticed in the world. From being a woman and turning into a man, that is the biggest difference I feel. When people talk to me and interact with me, they seem to just respect me more. For no other reason than I got a few hairs on my chin and I got a deep voice. Weird, right? Do I relish in that? I really don't. I feel conflicted about that. In one respect, it gives you a whole lot of more confidence to walk through the world unafraid, knowing that you're seen and respected and kind of bowed down to in a way. That's a good feeling. But knowing that that only happens if you're male is really freaking shitty. So that's interesting. that is my 2-year update on testosterone and 1-year update post-op. 2 years in, they say it takes 2 to 5 years to completely transform, and I'm on the very, very beginning of that complete transformation. So as you can see, my hairs are not 100% out. They're very, very slight and slim, like a teenage boy would be, or a guy who just doesn't have a lot of hair on them. And I know, based on the other hair that's growing on my body and my family heritage, and that I'll be a lot more hairier. So I'm gonna give it 3 more years before I have a full beard, which I really, really want. But I'm not gonna just be disappointed if I don't get, because even already, just the little whiskers I do have and starting to grow out and stuff is making me pass enough. And so that's what it's like. 2 years on. I'm probably not going to make another update for another 6 months at least, maybe a year, depending on how lazy I am, or depending on how many things change. So I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.